Now for the fun part. We're actually going to create some graphics. Now, the great thing that I love about Tableau is it doesn't really spit out errors. Uh, what it does is it maps it anyway, which I prefer. Like I have a lot of programs that I've used where it goes, oh, sorry, not compatible, or data type doesn't allow, or something comes up, and a lot of the times the errors are so vague. Like I think I've been using SQL Developer lately, and for the life of me, I don't even know what the error means. Like it'll say something like duplicate duplicate field mismatch in the grouping area. I don't know, some sort of nonsense. So like it gets a bit annoying. Whereas in Tableau, right, they're completely different softwares, right? They're not in the same space. But like with Tableau, at least when you drop things somewhere, it does something, and then from seeing it, you're like either it's correct or not. It's either what you wanted or it isn't, right? And then you can just keep playing. You keep moving things around until you finally get it. So what we're gonna do in this video is I'm gonna show you kind of three main graphic types that is kind of like standard, right? Not just in Tableau, but any software you use, right? And they are like bar charts and column charts, right? They're built in the same way. The next one is like a line chart, right? Which is great for monitoring things over time. And the third one is a par chart. Did I say par chart? I mean a pie chart, okay? So let's start with the first one, a bar chart. And with Tableau, right, just like any other bar chart, there's really two values that you need. One is what each of the bars are, okay, and then what the value of each bar is, okay? So let's do something here. Let's grab category, and I can grab this and put it into columns, okay? Then what I want to do is I want to put some sort of measure. Now the difference between dimensions and measures is measures are like numbers, okay? Things you can count, things you can multiply with, you can do arithmetic, that kind of stuff. Whereas dimensions are more like words, dates, geographical locations, right? You can't really multiply someone's name, okay? So that's what it means by dimension. So I'm going to grab category, and then I want to see how many sales, right, for each category. So if I grab sales and I put it into rows, it will create bars. Now let's say I accidentally didn't put it into rows. Let's say I put it somewhere else. I put it next to column. It will keep mapping. Let's say categories I accidentally put here. It'll create bars, right? Even if I put it on this side, doesn't matter. Tableau is very intuitive that it's kind of hard to make a really bad mistake that crushes the system. Even till now, I've been using it for years. I still haven't done that, right? So let's bring this back here, right? And I can keep moving things around as many times as I want, right? And I basically have my bar chart already. Now I can either swap them like this to create a column chart. Again, see, it just keeps mapping, right? To create a column chart, or I can press this button right here, right? Which just swaps these two, okay? It just swaps rows and columns, right? So I can keep doing that. So that's like the most basic kind of chart you can do, right? Let's switch it back one more time. And the great thing with Tableau in terms of like splitting your data further and further is there is a limit, but it's quite high. Whereas in Excel, in terms of a bar graph, you can only really have two layers of grouping before you can't even read the text, okay? So let's grab this time subcategory. Scroll down here, grab subcategory, and let's put it right here. Okay. Now, again, if you put it in the wrong spot, doesn't matter, right? It will just keep presenting what you want to see, right? There we go. And what that's done is it's split furniture again. Okay. As you can see, it split it into four. All right. And again, if let's say I put it here, doesn't matter. It's gonna keep mapping. And this is just why I love Tableau so much. It's just so it's really nice for the beginner who's not an analyst, who's not a designer or anything like that. So that's basically how you do your first bar chart. And the other thing I'm going to show you is basically just colors and labels, because after that you can pretty much create whatever you want. So I want to group these. First, I want to put labels on them, right? I want to write how many sales it is. So I can grab sales, I can drop it on label. Okay, so now I can see what the actual sale number is. But the other thing I want to show is visualization, right? I want to draw draw attention. Okay, so I can start using colors. So there's a few things I can do. The first one is I can color it by category, and it's really easy. I just grab category, I drop it here on color. Okay, and already it's colored using this to color. What if I use subcategory, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab that, drop it on category. Now, as you can see, it's colored them all. And the reason they're all different colors is because, well, each one is different, okay? Now, I can do something else. I can color code these not by the label, but by the actual value. So again, I can grab sales, drop it on color, and now it's color coded it. The higher the number, the darker the color, right? And I can change this color. I can either click on this legend here by double clicking, right? And it's going to bring up this, and I can just choose any palette I want, right? Let's bring this up here a bit, right? Any palette I want. Let's just say red and let's say what's the other one I do? Orange and blue. Okay, I can go okay, right? So now all the high numbers are blue. I can reverse that. Again, I can double click, go reverse, right? So now it's the reverse order. Or instead of going here, I can click on color. I can go edit colors, and I can do it from here as well, right? So let's just go sunrise, sunset. I can change this color. Let's say I don't like this blue. I'm going to change this to, let's say, something pretty dark, like a maroon color. Okay. Okay. Right. So heaps of things to choose from. And again, I haven't even used the keyboard yet. It's really friendly in terms of how to build. So that's our first example. Let's do another one. Right. This time I want to see, and I'm just going to grab something random almost. All right, let's do country. So I'm going to grab this. Now, before I was dropping them in here. Okay. But actually, I can grab it and drop it directly here, right? And each one will do something different. This one right here is the same as putting it on rows. This one is the same as putting it on columns, right? So I want to see rows. So now I go all my countries. This time, instead of sales, let's do discount. So again, I can grab this, put it here, or I can drop it in here. Now, what you'll notice is when I dropped it in there, it just put labels. It didn't actually do the bar. And that's because I haven't put anything in here, right? Or in terms of kind of there's a hidden space there, okay? So what I can do is I can grab discount again. I can drop it in here like so. Or I can grab this one and move it here, okay? Does the same thing. Now, one little cool thing I'm going to show you is usually you want to show, highest to lowest. You want to sort or something. So what you can do is you can hover on this label right here, click on this button, and straight away it sorts it for you. It's that simple. I can also keep clicking this to be highest to lowest, lowest to highest. I can use these buttons up here on the top. Again, they're sorting buttons, right? Pretty simple. I can add that coloring again. But I can also do cross tabs, with not cross tabs. Are they called cross tabs? Yeah. Basically, it splits them from, because this is only going this way, right? I want it to be splitting this way again. So let's just clear this, and I'm going to do a different one. So I'll leave some of discount, and let's say I want to have category. We'll do category again, right? I want it on the columns, okay? And I want subcategory, like so. So now it does, like groupings, okay? And again, I can sort within each respective group, okay? If I didn't want this, I can change it. Let's say I didn't want subcategory, I wanted segment. Again, it's just drag and drop, okay? Oh, actually, I needed subcategory again. So again, you just drop it in, okay? It's really, really friendly, right? And then I want to create a label for the discount. Again, just grab discount, drop it on label, okay? So very, very simple. And already with just bar charts, you could already do so much. So, right, so you can always take a screenshot of this and send it off when you're just getting started. Now, the next thing I want to show you is line charts. Okay, so let's create a new sheet. So to create a new sheet, you can either press this button up here or this button down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and click that. Right, and with line charts, there's kind of two ways to do it, or there's two types really. And the first one's called continuous, and the other one's called discrete. Now the names are very mathematical, and they're accurate. That's the correct mathematical term. That's why they use them. But it tends to confuse beginners. Okay, so the way I'm going to explain it instead is kind of like a clock, right? An analog clock that is just slowly moving, right? It's not doing the tick, tick thing, right? It's just like continuously moving. That's continuous, right? A digital clock that goes 301, 302, those are discrete, right? Because they're specific points in time. Whereas in an analog clock, every value in between every other value exists. Okay, so it's a continuous thing, right? So I'm going to show you first discrete because that's the easiest one to understand. So let's say I want to see my sales per year, right? So let's say based on my order date. So I can grab my order date and just drop it in, doesn't matter which, let's say columns. And you'll see that a few things have changed. Hang on. The first thing is this year function has been applied to order date. Now this is normal, this is automatic, because what Tableau understands is whenever you're doing dates, it's always grouped, right? It's the same in Excel where when you do a line chart, there's always tick marks. There's always like 2001, 2002, or January, February. It's always grouped when it comes to dates. So instead of having to apply it yourself, it just does it automatically, okay? And you'll also notice that there's this little plus, which is really cool, and I'll show you in a second. And each year I want to see what the sales were. So let's go ahead and grab sales again. Again, I can drop it here. I can drop it on this dotted line, or I can drop it on the labels. This time I'm going to drop it on rows. And again, it's done a line chart instead of a bar because of the dates. Okay. So in this one, there's 4 discrete points. Okay. And there's 4 distinct values. Okay. Now, if I click this little plus, it expands it to the next hierarchy, right? So you go years, then it goes quarters. Okay. Then if I click it again, it goes months. Okay. And you can go more and more detail. You can go days, you can go hours, whatever you need to. Okay. And to make it go backwards, you just press the minuses, right? To make it go back. So let's say this is what I want to see in terms of quarter, right? It shows them as discrete points. So now let me show you what it looks like as continuous. So I'm going to duplicate this sheet. And the way to do it is there's 2 ways. One is I can press this button right here, or I can right click on the sheet and go duplicate, right? So I'll do that one, right click, duplicate, right? And that's just so I don't have to build all this stuff again. So let's go minus, right? And when I right click on this date field here, you'll notice at the bottom it says discrete or continuous, right? You want to change this to continuous, okay? And then you'll notice that this is now changed to green and the plus is gone because it's now continuous. So if I right click this and change it to a different type of break, so instead of yearly, I want to see it on a monthly kind of basis. By the way, this part here, this is all the continuous ones. These are all the discrete ones, right? With practice, you'll start to understand more and more what they're like. So I'm gonna go, let's go monthly, right? Now, as you can see, this scale works a lot differently. It looks a lot more like Excel, right? It's a continuous flow of data because I can keep breaking this into more and more detail, and it just keeps breaking all the way until I get to day, and then all the way till I get the exact date, which means it also includes time, right? And with time, you can go all the way up to the second, right? It just keeps dividing. So that's kind of the 2 different ways in terms of line charts, okay? So we'll be doing a lot more line charts anyway, so you'll kind of get used to it, right? So those are my line charts. Is there anything else I want to cover with line charts? That's probably it at this stage, right? The only thing I would change is like these kinds of charts don't really tell much, so maybe even monthly in this case, right? So that's your line chart. And then again, you can add the same things we did to the other one, which is color. Let's say drop sales on color. Higher the number, the darker the color. Okay. I can add labels. So I can add, yeah, actually I'll add sales to the labels, right? So now I can see what values there are at each point. Okay. And the other cool thing about the labels in Tableau is they don't overlap. I don't know if you noticed that, but they don't overlap. If they do, one of them disappears. Okay, and that's so it doesn't appear cluttered. With Excel, it just shows everything, which is, it's not visually appealing, right? Okay, then the third thing we're going to do is pie charts. All right, so again, let's create a new sheet. Let's just click this button down here. And pie charts are really easy to do. And let's start by let's use sales again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab sales. I'm going to drop it. Yeah, let's just drop it in here. Okay. So I got $3 million in sales. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, which way should I do it? I'm going to select this one and go pie, right? So now I got a pie chart. But you notice it's not divided because I haven't told it what to divide with yet. So let's do it with something simple. Let's go category. And I'm going to drop category into colors because I want to split it. So now I got the 3 colors. But it doesn't know how much to split by because I haven't introduced that into this angle part yet. So what I want to do is I want to grab sales and drop it into angle. Okay. And as you can see, now it's correct. Okay. Now they're split. And the other thing is this is quite small. So I'm going to show you how to make this a little bit bigger. I'm pretty sure you can do this one, right? But the problem with this is it's like in a small space. So what I wanted to actually do is make it fill up this entire thing. So what you can do is click on this button up here and go entire view, right? So now I got my bar chart. Now, the other thing I didn't show you in the previous one was you can have as many labels as you want, right? So I can actually add categories to labels and I can have category there. I can change the order. I can just grab this one, put it on top of the other one. And I've got technology on the top, right? And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's that simple to start creating your graphics. So in just like, even going slowly in 15 minutes, you can create all this, okay? Pretty easy. So I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you next time.